Hello and welcome back to Sheaff Math. In today's lesson, we're going to be learning the midpoint formula, or we're going to be finding the point which is exactly between 2 points. So let's suppose you're given 2 points, -2, 1, and 4, 5, and you had to find the point that's in between those exactly. Well, on a graph, this is what it looks like. -2, 1, and 4, 5. We draw a line through it, and then you kind of look to see where the middle of that is, and it looks to be right there. And so that's what we're trying to find. Now, a graph takes a little while to do, and you can certainly use this method, although not all of the points land on nice crosshair points like this, where it's 1, 3. A lot of times you can't tell by just looking at it, and sometimes they're very hard to graph as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn something different. We have a quicker way to find it, and it's called the midpoint formula. So here is the midpoint formula. It's x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So this formula finds our x and our y for that middle point. And what those x and y's represent is the average or the middle between each of the x's and the y's. And so what we really are finding is the average of the x's and the average of the y's. So let me show you how it works. First, we want to make sure that we know what x1, y1, x2, and y2 are. The first point is x1 and y1, and then the second one is x2 and y2, and so we're going to be adding the x's together and then the y's together. So, using our formula, we are going to first add the x's together, then add the y's together, and put them into the formula and divide them by 2. So -2 plus 4 and 1 plus 5. And that comes out to 2 over 2 and 6 over 2, and you'll want to simplify those, and we get 1, 3. And so the point 1, 3 is the midpoint between those 2 points, as we saw earlier on the graph. Here's another example. So we have our formula again, and so what we're going to do is we're going to add the x's together and divide by 2, add the y's together and divide by 2. So we put them in the formula. So we're dealing with some negatives as well. So we get 15 over 2 and 6 over 2. Now 15 over 2 does not come out to a whole number, but you're going to have to put it into a decimal. So that comes out to 7.5, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. And that is the exact midpoint between our 2 points above. Now sometimes you have huge numbers that you're dealing with, which would be impossible to graph for you. But the same formula applies. So we add our x's, divide by 2, then we add our y's and divide by 2. And so we put the formula together, we simplify, and 210 divided by 2 is 105, and 110 divided by 2 is 55. And so if you were to make a graph or put it into a graphing calculator, you would find that 105.55 is exactly between the 2 points. You'll also come across problems that have decimals in them, okay? And so the same thing applies with the formula. We're going to be adding the x's together and dividing by 2, adding the y's together and divide by 2. We put our formula together, and so we add the top. Now notice that I put the -5.8 in parentheses just so you know that we're adding negatives together. After you simplify that, you get 10.2 divided by 2 and -9 divided by 2. And what you get after you simplify those is 5.1 and -4.5, the midpoint between those 2 points. All right. Well, you just learned how to find the midpoint between 2 points, and you learned by using the midpoint formula. If you want to watch this again, I recommend it so you really grasp the concept. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.